follow me, follow us on this exciting journey as I figure out who I am. Who is Denicia? Who is the brain? Stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome to She Roams Free. This is Denicia, as most of you may know me as the brain from Feeling the Brain. I brought you here today is because I want to share something with you. I want to share with you why I have made the decision to move to Southeast Asia. I've been in the corporate space for about 13 years, and I enjoy working in corporate America to a certain extent, and especially in the beginning. But over the years, I realized something was missing. I can feel it. No matter how I challenged myself in corporate America, no matter how many jobs I held, no matter how many degrees and certifications I received, I just felt that something was missing and I wasn't living the life that I felt I deserved to live. Now, I'm not saying that for those of you out there, you should not work a corporate job. I'm just saying for me, I just never really felt like that was my ending. I never believed that I was just gonna work corporate America for years and years and then retire at 67 years old. I knew that there was something more beyond that I wanted to explore. And that's what I wanna talk to you about today. And I wanna be able to take you on a journey with me as I figure out what I want to do moving forward and finding myself as I travel these beautiful countries throughout Southeast Asia. As you guys may know me and Philly from our other YouTube channel, Feeling the Brain, we have been on this journey for a year now, planning and prepping, and in about 2 months from today, we are going to be gone. We are going to start exploring and enter Thailand, and as well as some other countries. So stick with us. So just to give you a background on myself as far as what I've done in corporate America, for the last 10 years, I have been in the Workday space. I am a Workday consultant. I'm currently working independently as a Workday consultant. And what Workday consultants do is they work with customers as far as helping them build out their business processes. So that's just the idea of what I have been doing in the tech space. And as I mentioned before, I'm now on that journey where I want to transition and figure out more about myself and start exploring the world. Have you ever felt like something was missing? Well, that's what I felt the last several years of my life. I recall a time when I entered the peak of my career, or I would say the beginning part of my career, when I was able to get an analyst job as a Workday analyst for a very large technology company. And after spending a couple of years there, I started to have that feeling of something missing. By that time, I have already had a master's degree, I had multiple certifications, but I started to realize the first time in my life that I didn't want to just settle on working for corporate America, and there had to be something more. At that time, I wasn't investing. I was just starting to invest into real estate. I wasn't investing into the stock market, anything like that. I knew about it. I didn't personally know anyone in my family that was investing into the stock market or doing any type of investments that I know of, but I wanted to change that. I am known for being really good with finances in my family. Really, really good with numbers, good with money. I still have money, as my spouse would say, from 3rd grade or 5th grade, because I'm really, really good at saving money. But I wanted to go beyond that. I wanted to be able to know how to invest. And from that time, I not only became really, really good at learning and understanding numbers in the real estate market, but I started to understand finances when it came to the stock market. So I became a certified real estate agent. I started investing in real estate. I became a wholesaler. And then from there, I started to be able to understand that there was different ways of investing, not just from wholesaling, but also from buying and holding properties. And then from there, I started taking a lot of training and reading books about the stock market. And as of today, I can say I've been successfully able to build a stock portfolio, and not just with my understanding of having a 401k through an employer, but also understanding traditional IRAs and Roth IRAs and brokerage accounts, and not just knowing what stocks to choose or what ETFs to choose or which index funds to choose, but also understanding how my money is protected, how much my money is protected, how much income could I receive if I'm focused on dividend income portfolio. So there's a lot that's involved with that. And from there, when I started to realize that there was different ways that I could earn money, that's when I realized I didn't have to keep a job long term. This was before I even begun to even got to the point where we put the plan together to leave the US and travel around the world. But as you can see, all of this goes together, right? By me taking the time out to learn and study and work on my finances so that I could get rid of as much debt as possible, as well as create an income source for myself and my family, that then opened up other doors, right? Where I, years later in my workday career, became an independent consulting. But I'm saying all of this so that I could help you guys understand, if you're out there and you just working a job and you feel that you want to do something different, or you asking yourself the same question, is there more out there? There is. There's so many options, and I really feel like you should really think about what those options are. Being in an environment where everything is just moving so fast, you get to a point in your career where you checked all the boxes, you met all your goals, right? And then you start to ask yourself this question: am I living the life I want to live? And that's where I am. That's where I got to a couple of years ago. And I just feel like I was going back and forth. It didn't matter what I was doing, I still felt that way. I was changing careers, changing jobs, getting more certifications. I already have a master's degree. I just have all these different things that I was doing, trying to fulfill a void, or maybe avoid what I was feeling. Like, I thought maybe just adding on to what I already had was going to solve the problem, but it did not. And I had to really ask myself, what is that and what am I trying to do? And that's when I realized I was not living the life I wanted to live. Would I allow fear to get in the way? Because let's be honest, most of us are afraid of change. I had a 7-year plan, 7-year plan for our finances, myself and my spouse, fire number, more discussion on that. But there was something that triggered me where I started to realize it was time to go. And it was that moment when I started to realize things started to change in our country. I'm not gonna turn this into like a politics conversation, but I started to see things and realize things were changing and things were starting to shift in the way that I feel like would not provide any value to me and my family. And that's why I decided to make the move now versus later. The decision to leave was not an easy one. And there's reasons for that. One, I like to have everything complete order. And we do, we have a lot in order. But two, family. Family is definitely important to us. And three, our friends. So leaving our friends and family behind, the unknown, Obviously, we do have a plan, and we've been working towards that plan. But still, it's still scary to leave what you're familiar with, leave the U.S. and go and live in a whole nother country. I have traveled, Phil and I have traveled many years around the world. I haven't been everywhere, but I've been a lot of different places. But this is different. This is bigger than we ever expected, to just move to Southeast Asia. I'm not afraid to leave. We have made some pretty smart decisions with our finances. Don't get me wrong, everything was not perfect, especially when I met my spouse, but we have worked so hard to get to the point where we could pay off all our debt and save enough money, save at least 1 year of living expenses, something that I taught my spouse and something that he worked on and we worked on together. But also being able to create an income source for yourself. Because we're pretty young, we're not in our 60s and 70 years old to retire, right? And I always knew that I was not going to retire in my 60s. So years ago, I had to put together a plan where I create an income source for myself, and that's living off our dividend income as well as my spouse's retirement income. So that's why we're able to make this move. So make sure you have a plan before you make the move. This isn't about just corporate America or just saying, hey, I'm leaving my corporate America job and I'm not gonna do anything. This journey is about redefining who I am and also living the life I want to live. Take control, living my life in my own way, in my own terms. And it may be I'm a business owner of my own, right? It could be I decide to just keep building and building on our dividends, our retirement income in that way, right? Or it could be I explore other options around the world and maybe go and work for another company, but in my own terms, in my own way. Don't get me wrong, there's fear. I, at times, in moments, overthought this process and was allowing fear to get in the way as far as saying, oh, we're not completely there with the numbers. And I mean numbers, I mean millions. But what I had to tell myself is there's something behind fear. Something that they did not teach us in school, right? Is that you have to work through the fear in order to reach the goal. There's a beautiful, beautiful outcome that's behind that fear. If you're willing to take the leap, Also, when it comes to fear, is that your closest friends and family, your loved ones, they are going to feel uncertain about your decision. They're not gonna, and some of them are not gonna always agree, meaning they're going to project their fears onto you. Do not allow that to distract you. Stay positive, stay humble. But this is the reason why, in most cases, it's best to move in silence. Just show them what you're doing. They can go to your YouTube channels if they want and they can see what you're doing. But try not to speak so much about it because not everyone is going to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. So here we are. You're catching me right in the thick of it. I am packing. It is, in the moment, kind of like a chaos. I'm a little more organized, or a lot more organized than you'll see in the current video. But I'm preparing, packing, decluttering, organizing the house, getting the house prepared for its own transformation so that we could rent the property out. I'm excited. I would have to say I am sort of experiencing a feeling that I didn't expect. As I pack, I start to feel very good about letting things go. I didn't realize, for one, that we had so much stuff, a lot of stuff that we didn't need, but I feel so good to let a lot of these things go. We've been able to sell a lot of our things, give a lot of things away, so that's exciting. However, I am a little anxious because I'm more organized than what you can see in the video. So trying to keep things organized as I pack has been a little of a struggle. But I'm excited to go on this journey. The countdown is on. Phil has been so excited about leaving, excited about going to Vietnam. He was all about Thailand in the beginning. Now he's like Thailand and Vietnam. So we're both excited. I am excited. However, I haven't got to that point where I'm just like static just yet. It probably won't happen until we actually get on the plane. But yeah, we're definitely ready to go. And as each passing day goes by, it feels so unreal. Like I almost feel like it's not real that we're leaving, but we really are. So stay tuned. This channel, She Roams Free, Roamz with a Z, is going to document every part of this journey, from the good, the bad, as I figure out life, figure out myself, Phil and I figure out life together. Hopefully, I'm able to inspire you guys out there that want to do something similar and just not sure where to start. I want to inspire you to think about, what does freedom look like in your life? What does freedom look like to you? Now, I don't have all the answers, and that's okay. This channel is about figuring it out openly and honestly with all of you. Expect more videos on budgeting, traveling tips, financial tips, and what it truly means to live a life abroad. Live a life on your own terms. Live a life without being defined by a job title.
Fire. Take that piece, get it to the go.
This channel, She Roams Free, we're going to be really exploring. This channel, She Roams Free,